This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion. Oh yeah, we got a long one tonight. Obviously, the Oilers falling, as you see here in this graphic, 6-4 to the Vegas Golden Knights last night in what can be described as a poor effort in which the team still somehow scores 4 goals against Laurent Brossoit. So things bode well going into the rest of the series, I guess you could say. And that begs the question, quite simply, where do we go from here? Obviously, we saw the response in round one against the LA Kings, but then we lost game three. Then we roared back and won 3 straight. So we'll find out what this team is made of going into Saturday night's game at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. But before then, let's discuss some storylines, some things we can look at, and some stuff that asks the question, quite simply, where do we go from here? But if you're new to the channel, friends, right now I'm going to cue it up for you. If you're new, I want you to hit that subscribe button. Why? Well, the live streams have been fantastic, and I want you to be a part of that energy. Secondary to that, I want you to be able to catch all the newest, latest videos, and the subscribe button is the best way to do that. YouTube will give it to you in your feed. There's a subscription tab as well. Whole bunch of ways to find Dolynny TV videos down the stretch here in the playoffs. So we're down 1-0 in the series. Oh man, that sucks. Uncharted territory for the Oilers. Nope, just kidding. We've been there every single time out here in the past 2 years. So for us, it's nothing unfamiliar. And out of 3 out of 5 so far, right? 5 is in progress. 3 out of 5 so far have a positive ending in terms of winning that series. So when it comes down to it for the Oilers, the first question, where do we go from here? I think everybody looks at the panic index, right? What do we have to know? How bad is this really? And it ain't bad at all, right? I think you look at the effort last night from the Edmonton Oilers. You look at the comments from Jay Woodcroft today. It's kind of like, yeah, crap happens. Sometimes you don't have your best stuff. But when you don't have your best stuff and still score, I don't care who scored them. That's the caveat to that. When you score 4 goals in a single playoff game and you can sit there and honestly say we did not have our best stuff tonight, that is a good thing. I think Jay Woodcroft even said that in his presser today, where it's like, we look at that as a good thing. How can you not? You still scored 4 goals and lost. Hey, you know what? There's hope. You chop down, as Jay Woodcroft said, some silly little mistakes, some individual mistakes, and erase that, and suddenly you're not that bad off. All this hockey game, outside of the last, 30 seconds, the Oilers were 1 shot away at bare minimum overtime. So that's the beauty here for us today, is the panic index probably, in a lot of my mind, 0, maybe onesie, twosie in some categories, but I'll take a 0, no problem. Now, we move on to the next thing. Where do we go from here? What lineup changes? We won't get to the goaltending quite yet. That's the next segment. But lineup changes for this Edmonton Oilers squad. Where do you go from here? Well, you look at Mattias Janmark. No update from Jay Woodcroft today. That is not good to hear, but it was kind of Jay Woodcroft saying at the same rate, well, I didn't get a chance to meet with the trainers. But then he follows it up as well by saying he didn't skate today. So for Mattias Janmark, who has been banged up the majority of these playoffs, has skated in, 2 games so far, we're hoping we get him because he is a big piece of this Oilers team, just based on the penalty kill, based on, of course, the attacking on the penalty kill and attacking 5-on-5 alongside guys like Klim Kostin and Ryan McLeod. But we obviously need to see Mattias Janmark healthy here, especially if we are counting on a deep run. That said, lineup changes. Where do you go from here if that is not the case? If Mattias Janmark is not healthy? Well, you go to, more than likely, Dylan Holloway, who plays a style of hockey, right? He's fast. He can be heavy when he wants to be. Obviously, I think he's developed that over the course of the past 5-6 years here as he transitioned from junior to college to the NHL. And for Dylan Holloway, you really want to see him be a guy that kind of just comes in and replaces Mattias Janmark completely, right? That's what you'd want to see. The penalty kill, that's a different question. I don't know if you're going to see that from Dylan Holloway. I don't think the Oilers coaching staff is going to put him out there and expect that from Dylan Holloway. So more or less, you're looking to replace the 5-on-5 player that Mattias Janmark is with Dylan Holloway. And I think for a lot of us, we would be pretty comfortable saying that that is a good possibility based on kind of the development curve Dylan Holloway has had. So lineup changes, that part's covered. The defense lineup changes. Do you sit Desharnais? Do you send a message to the rookie? Do you give him a vote of confidence and throw him back in there? Do you go 12-6 and get maybe Shore and Holloway in, or Janmark and Holloway? Should Janmark be healthy? What do you do there, right? And that's kind of going to be the quickest question, because I think going into Saturday, we've got another question mark in terms of the lineup. Derek Ryan, who was down with an illness last night, and that is why we indeed ended up going 11-7. So you think about how Derek Ryan potentially being healthy would have changed game number one. We don't even want to talk about that, because that's just something that's done and dusted and no need to worry about it. But that's another whole storyline that was kind of missed in all of this here over the past 24 hours, is that there was probably a strong possibility that the Oilers would have gone 12-6 last night as opposed to 11-7. So now you talk about this here. Okay, lineup changes are covered. Defense lineup changes are covered. What's left? Well, you gave up 6 goals last night, albeit one was an empty netter, so don't fault Stewie for 6. Fault him for 5 if you're going to fault him at all. Well, do you turn to Jack Campbell, right? Is it, again, maybe back to that panic index kind of thing? Do you turn to Jack Campbell? Do you sit there and play the game where, okay, right, they beat up on our one goaltender. Let's see if our other goalie can give us a game and then get Stewie back in there, or let Jack ride, right? That's kind of the beauty of this Oilers goaltending tandem, is they can ride at times all by themselves. So that would be the question I would be asking right now, is just not even... Sorry, I got a tickle up my nose here. Not even really... There we go. Not even really trying to say that I want Jack Campbell to start over Stuart Skinner, or Stuart Skinner should start over Jack Campbell. I think at just this point, it is an honest inflection point for the Oilers and say, hey, okay, what do we do here? Do we have this honest conversation now? Do we save it for after game 2? Do we sit here and think about it if Jack Campbell has to come in halfway through the game on game 2? Where do you think about Jack Campbell at this point? And it's not saying that Stuart Skinner's done a bad job. He literally just won us round 1 after losing game 1 of round 1, and has now just lost game 1. That's of round 2. Are we, again, back to that panic index, onesies, twosies, right? I talked about that. Well, maybe the goaltending's a onesie, twosie, not a 0 like everything else. So that's where I'd put that right now, is I really don't think we need to have that conversation, but I really think, too, there is some merit to have it, just based on how things have gone over the past several games since Stuart Skinner was pulled in favor of Jack Campbell, and then the Oilers won the game. So that's that, right? That's that. So now the real question, as I've asked the whole time, where do you go from here? Well, you look for a rebound performance no matter what the factors are going into game 2, right? Whether Derek Ryan be in, Holloway, Janmark, Desharnais, Broberg in or out, Jack Campbell or Stuart Skinner in net, a better effort, a worse effort, whatever the factors might be, you look for a better and a winning result in game 2. That's where we go from here, is you go get a winning result in game number 2, because I think based on what we know of this Vegas team, based on what we know of our team, based on what we know of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and just based on our faith and fate as Edmonton Oilers fans more often than not, I don't want to go home down 2-0. That's the biggest thing here, is I do not want to go down 2-0. And it'd be nice to steal home ice advantage for the rest of the time. That as well would be not a bad situation for our Edmonton Oilers either, right? 2 games at home in 3-4, and then game 6. You know what we did with home ice advantage in round 1, so why not try and steal it here in round number 2? So that's really kind of the talking points today for me. There's not much really to add, right? I think you can be bitter about some things, you can be happy about some things. Leon Draisaitl had a 4-goal night that we haven't even mentioned yet and still wasn't named at the start of the game, but who knows? It's kind of crazy stuff that happens during the Stanley Cup playoffs, and it all goes part and parcel for how the game goes as well. So for Leon Draisaitl and the Edmonton Oilers, a 6-4 loss in game 1, and now where do we go from here? Well, we go looking for our first victory of the series Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. If you're out on the East Coast, I guess, 5 p.m. Mountain Time here on Dolynny TV. We'll be rocking actually at 4:30. So look for the live stream sometime tomorrow. But as of that, I'm going to go out, enjoy the rest of my Thursday evening, cook dinner, and then we're going to talk tomorrow in advance, and then we're going to get set up for the live stream on Saturday. Crush it, go out to Bogies, have a great night, and really enjoy a great weekend where I guess it's going to be raining down here in southern Alberta, and I guess if Alberta gets some rain, it's not necessarily a bad thing with all the fires burning across the province. Friends, for right now, stay safe, stay healthy, and we will talk to you soon as we get set up for game number 2 tomorrow. Friends, Saturday is the big day. We try to get back in this thing. I'm up on out of here.